How you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I'm David Mathis. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If this is the first video you've ever seen of mine, I really appreciate you taking your time to stop and take a look at it. It probably caught your eye because of the title, and hopefully you'll find other videos on my channel that spark your interest too. So if you do like the channel, please subscribe, share with your friends. I'm trying to get this information out to as many people as possible to try to help. But I'll take a quick moment to introduce myself. Like I said, I'm David Mathis. I am an Army Combat Medic veteran. I have a master's in exercise science from the University of South Florida, and I am an online strength and physique coach. So you can find me at mathasfitness on Instagram, MATHAS Fitness. I do have a website, www.coachdavidmathas.com. And of course, you found my YouTube channel. So there we go with that. This is a series that I do called Ask the Coach. And these questions come directly either from my current clients or from people on Instagram reaching out about questions, either through my Q&A that I do a few times a week or just through direct message. So this one was a really, really good question that I got today. One that I feel is a very common question from a lot of people because I get it quite often. And that is, what do you do when you overeat on your calories one day? So whether it be maybe a holiday, a birthday, just one of those days where you just decided you wanted to have a bunch of food and it went way over on your macros. What do you do for the next couple days? Well, this is a really great question, and there's a little bit of complexity to this. So I'm going to go through some different scenarios and kind of tell you what I suggest as a coach to my clients or to people that reach out to me. So first and foremost, we have to decide what phase you're in, right? Are you in a fat loss phase or are you in a gaining phase? That's going to play a big determination on whether or not, later on we subtract those calories from other days, or if we just kind of roll with it and use it to our advantage with training, right? If you overate by, let's just use an arbitrary number, let's say 200 calories, right? Well, if you're in a gaining phase, that's not going to be as much of a hindrance to you as it is if you were trying to lose fat, right? Because you can use those extra calories. You already know you're going to be putting on a little bit of body fat along the way as you're trying to build some muscle, and you could use those towards better workouts. Now, on the flip side, you can also use those extra calories in a fat loss phase and put it towards one of your more intense workouts. So it's not quite as bad if you are trying to gain weight, if you go a little bit over, but it could hurt you a little bit if you are in a fat loss. So for the purpose of this, let's say that you are in a fat loss phase, okay? That's what we're gonna kind of base this premise off of for this video. If you overeat by, say, 150, 200 calories, there's a couple things that I like to do in this scenario. Number one is, first, let's make sure that you hit your protein, okay? As long as your protein's covered, that's a major hurdle out of the way. We really always wanna make sure that our protein needs are covered. You could do one of two things. If your weight did not budge much, because of overeating by those 200 calories, I would say let's just get right back on schedule, okay? Forget like it never happened, just get right back on plan the next day. If you did gain a little bit of weight, then what I would say is if you had, let's say, the 200 calories above, right, what you were supposed to have, over the next 4 days, what I would do is probably cut your calories down by 50 calories a day, coming from carbs or fats, okay? We always want to leave protein steady because protein is the most important macronutrient. It is what helps retain our lean body mass. It's what helps repair. It is used in hundreds, if not thousands of different processes in the body at the cellular level, okay? So we want to always make sure we keep protein the same. We can kind of adjust carbs and fats. I wouldn't do much more than like 50 calories a day, especially the lower in calories you get, because you don't want to make yourself, you don't want to put yourself in that deep of a hole, right? If you are, say, it's supposed to be at 1,500 calories. Well, 1,450 is very, very doable, right? If you're already at 1,200 calories and you want to go down to 1,150, that's going to take a little bit more of a hit on you than if you're going from 1,500 to 1,450. So we need to keep that in mind too. Now, let's say you overeat by like 500 calories, okay? What do we do? Well, a lot of people will turn to excess cardio to try to burn that off. And I don't think that's necessarily the best case because your body is already in a stressed state from dieting and you're probably already doing a lot of cardio. So by increasing your cardio, what you're doing is you're actually putting your body under more stress. Cortisol levels raise, which are our stress hormones, which enable us or inhibit us from burning fat. They keep us from, using fat as a fuel source, burning it off. And instead it kind of stores everything. It kind of shuts off that fat burning process. So you're kind of going to do, you're going to kind of shoot yourself in the foot a little bit if you try to just increase cardio drastically. What I would suggest doing is, once again, over the next 5 to 7 days, try cutting your calories between like 75 and 100 calories a day from the carbs and fats. That way we kind of just even out the weekly total calorie intake, which is what's very important for weight loss. And your body will gradually start balancing itself out throughout the week. That way you're not just doing one day where you're doing another 500 calorie deficit to try to get back on track, okay? That also starts to build up eating disorder tendencies, kind of the binging and restricting type of pattern. So that's what we want to avoid. So if we can spread out that deficit over a longer period of time, it's a little bit easier on our body, it's easier on our mind, and we don't start developing bad habits like that. So those are some of the suggestions I have. Another thing is if you do overeat and you have a bunch of calories, I would actually schedule that next day to be one of your hardest weight training days, because weight training uses glycogen, okay? It uses glucose for energy. So you can put a lot of those extra calories to use, say, if you go do a hard leg day or back day or something like that. But lifting weights is going to help you utilize those a lot more. Plus, it's going to help build and retain more lean body mass, which lean body mass, your muscle tissue, your organs, your skin, your water, everything that on your body that's not fat is what's going to keep you metabolically active and keep your metabolism revved up, okay? So we want to be doing exercises that's going to promote more increased lean body mass, not take away from it like cardio does. So a lot of what you're going to do is going to depend, like I said, on how many calories you are above where you're supposed to be. The biggest thing I want you to remember is don't freak out, okay? Don't turn to extremes. The most important thing is to remember, okay, it's done, it's over with. We can't change what happened. What we can do is set up a good plan moving forward in order to help mitigate some of those potentially harmful effects that might have had. And it will get better. Your body will even itself out. You might weigh a lot more the next morning. A lot of it is going to be water retention too. So don't always think that weight gain means fat. A lot of it can be water, especially if you overate a lot on carbohydrates, because for every gram of carbohydrates, your body holds about 2.7 grams of water. So that's something that over the next few days, as you're gradually kind of putting yourself in a little bit more of a deficit to even things out, that's going to rectify itself and it's going to even out. So after you're done with, say, that 5 to 7 days where you're in that reduction, when you're in that deficit to make up for that 500 extra calories you ate, then you just go right back to your normal calories, okay? You go back to your normal fat loss macros that you were on prior to the overeating episode, and you just get right back on track. The biggest thing I see people do is that they get very scared, they get very worried, they freak out, and they kind of catastrophize things in their mind, right? The body is not going to gain a bunch of fat overnight, okay? So what we need to understand is that the body is an evolutionary organism, right? So we need to make sure that whatever we did before that overeating episode, we gradually just kind of mitigate that and we kind of make up for that over time. Don't try to get it all off the next day. You're going to be stressed. You're going to put your body under more stress. It's going to be miserable. You're probably not going to be eating a lot. And you're probably going to be doing a lot of exercise. Whereas if you spread it out a little bit more, spread that deficit out a little bit more throughout the week, it's going to be a lot easier on you mentally and physically. So that's how I suggest going about overeating episodes. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Leave some in the comment section below. You can find me at mathasfitness on Instagram. Once again, MATHAS. You can find me on my website, www.coachdavidmathis.com. And I really appreciate all you guys taking your time and watching these videos. It means a lot to me. So if you haven't yet, once again, please like, subscribe, and share. I would really appreciate it. Just trying to get this information out to as many people as possible. I am accepting new clients right now. So if you're interested, please reach out to me and I can get you some more information on pricing and an inquiry form. You guys have a great day. Get some training in, be safe, be healthy, and make today better than yesterday.